Blessings and good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever you're watching this. I'm the one and only Mr. LP Stephen Sykes of Enliven Global Media. And we are here today discussing Hurricane Helene, the damage, the aftermath, everything else, good, the bad, the ugly, and everything else. And with it all, and obviously not a whole lot of good, but awareness. But we're going to talk about it in a lot of more different things. Today, we might have some more joining us as we go, but today I have the lovely Queen Anika Walston. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I am well. I'm well. Feeling okay. A little under the weather, but I'm doing good.
That's all right. This is what happens. Listen, I keep telling you, can't stay in your steam room inside your mansion all the time. You got to come out of it. After you work a hard day, counting your money at the bank and come in, you want to relax and you stay in your sauna in your steam room. So you caught a little bit of a cold, but some good orange juice is good for you. Okay.
Yes, so excuse me tonight. I will not be blowing. I'll just turn my camera off. Okay.
That's not a problem. No, you can blow. Look, hey, this is life. We ain't pretentious like that around here. We rich, we may be rich, but we ain't pretentious. We gonna call it like that. Okay,
Amen. Amen.
Amen, amen. So today's show, everybody, is a very important show, and I know I say it every day, all the time. That every show is important, but today's show's topic is Hurricane Helene: unmasking the chaos, the failures, the fallout, and what we must do. Okay, now I got a lot of rants with this, but I'm going to try to behave myself and not do my Stephen A. Smith's. I think he copied after me, to be honest, but I'm not going to go into my Stephen A. Smith rant too much. But here's the gist of it. How foolish can we be? I'm going in. We are dumb here in America and in a lot of places around the world. Our people. We have to stop. And I'm saying our people, I'm talking about not just Black people, but just people in general. What has happened with Hurricane Helene is sad, it's tragic, but it did not have to be this way. Okay. And let's just be honest. Okay. And tell the truth. When you plan to fail, expect things to go bad. Fortune's favored the prepared. You can't plan for everything, but you could damn well try. Now, how many more hurricanes? How many more deaths? How much more money do we have to lose? How much time? Just time. You can't replace it. But how much time and energy you got to keep losing here in America, especially before we get our act together as human beings? Because what has happened with the deaths should never, ever has happened. I understand some things may happen in some people's life or what have you, but the way this has happened to the level of, almost not Katrina level, but darn near second right now worst hurricane in U.S. history. This never should have happened. We failed. We did not have, and I don't want to hear the excuse about what people are not used to expecting in certain areas of the country, in the mountains or whatever. When you live near water, when you live in the mountains, you got slides. This is what happens when you did not pay attention in school or learn after school to how weather works with mountains, the orographic effect and everything else, how things get pushed back and it stays down or moisture does not get to the other side, all these different things. So when you have this amount, and even when it gets cold, it could not even just be if it gets too hot. If it gets too cold, power goes out. You should have some level of preparedness about you. Men, how are you calling yourself leaders of family when you do not prepare yourselves and your families? Yes, I'm calling you out and things. Women, how are you foundations, heritage and legacy of women and family when you can't keep it together and things? Half of y'all can't even damn well cook and things on the grill or wood or charcoal or anything. If it ain't gas and it ain't forming, you can't figure it out. All these different things are just preparing, and you call yourselves loving each other. You call yourselves respecting each other. We're neighborly, we're godly, we're Christian, we're whatever. No, you're not. Because you keep screwing up. I have another word that starts with F, but my grandmother was come down from heaven and smack me. So I'm going to act like I got some sense. But you're screwing up. You do not have, and I got a whole list of things, what have you, but it is a lot. The one thing I'm going to start and I've already started. But one thing I'm going to key on things, and I'm a very big guy on technology and how it can be used, incorporating the past and the present with the future. You're screwing up. Unless you are like 30 years old in 1947 when the transistor came out, or 1953 or 53 or 54 when color TV was introduced. Unless you were that age, I don't want to hear it. Because in the 70s and the 80s, you was in your 20s or 30s, and now, I'm sorry, you're not the, or what should I say? You're not the past boomer, late boomers, or the lost generation type of age people, okay? If you're 85, 90, I get it. But even then, you really should know what to do because you didn't have anything. So really, there's no excuse for any of you. Okay. But the rest of you, I'm sorry. I don't want to hear it. You're 50, 60, 70, but you grew up in the days where you had to tune your channels to the VCR. You grew up in the days you figured out, well, everybody knows what to do with the antenna, black, white, Asian, whatever, with foil to your TV. You knew how to get your carry batteries for your boombox so you can listen to the radio when power went out. Okay. This is not just a city thing or a southern thing. This was everybody knew what to do. Okay, you grew up with life skills. How is it all of a sudden when you get later on in life, I don't want to learn, I don't want to move on? Stop it. You should have battery chargers, solar devices, everything else, and you know what's coming. But you want to be foolish and make every single excuse in the world, but tell everybody else what to do, and especially your children and grandchildren, oh, technology, this, that, but you don't want to learn. And you wonder why jobs are gone. You wonder why people laugh at you. You wonder why others your age have bothered to learn. I'm not expecting you to be a super tech like me or anything else or like others, but learn the basics. Just like a mechanic, I'm not expecting you to change the engine, but you damn sure know to get your oil changed, to change your tire, to change the tire. Okay? If you, at this point in time, you do not know how the difference between the type of batteries, a 2.4 charger, the right cheap wires from the gas station is not going to work, and how to prepare yourselves and things. You don't know how to start a fire. Okay, disaster planning, having copies of things. We're going to go over some of these things, but it's just stupid. I have a video of what the nightly news I'm going to play. Of what's going on right now as current of within the last, 30 minutes or so. Before I go to that, Miss Walston, please, Queen.
I agree with you. I agree with you to a certain point, but I know that you are passionate about this topic. It's education. It is so sad because you would think that a lot of people didn't know anything existed before the internet. And even if you did not know or know how to prepare for this, you probably could have used Google. I
mean, I'm sorry, before the internet started becoming fake, you knew what the hell charcoal is. You know what the hell cases of water is. You knew what the hell generator is. All these other different things. You know what was available out there. So I'm sorry, you have to miss me on that one, not you.
And the least of your worries. I mean, if you don't know, inquire. Like, that's where neighborly love comes in. You're in these neighborhoods with these situations. This lack of preparation. I just remember I had my kids sit and make a disaster preparing box, and I swear to God, just watching the things that they bought to put in this box, not thinking about toilet paper, paper towels, batteries, simple stuff. Like, they thought maybe during the hurricane we were going to plug it up outside. I don't know, but just as much as we stress going to college and having all these tools and skills, surviving is a skill. And I know everybody ain't able, but everybody can help somebody.
I'm sorry. Everybody has some damn well skill. I'm sorry. Everybody has a skill. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, look, or you know what? Start a fire. Collect everything. We have to start enabling ourselves as neighbors and learning different things and what have you. There's a whole thing. I'm going to go into the list. But before we go into the list, I'm going to play what the current update. So for those who may not be aware, okay, you should. Okay, you should. I don't want to hear that sugar honey iced tea about is not in my area. Okay, I'm really hot today. I'm sorry. I'm on.
We're gonna educate people today.
Yeah, we're educated, but
today.
I'm not one with the euphemisms and topher terms. But what did they say? I'm standing on business today.
Here we go.
I'm standing on business and things like that. I'm going to keep it real and things like that. I'm going to shake the salt out can't get it with the teeth. Shake the salt out the pepper shaker today. I'm really going to do it. In fact, I'm going to go over Miss Nika's house, go get her hair and put it on my head, wash it and put it back on her hair and oil it for the night. Okay, we're going to do it all today. That's how bad I'm really hot today. I really am and things. But here is here we go. We're going to be fair and show everybody's faces at the same time. Let's at least act like we're civilized here.
Good evening and welcome. Misery and still more loss in the southeast almost a full week after Hurricane Helene swept through the region, causing the catastrophic flooding that ripped apart so many communities. At least 215 people are now reported dead in 6 states, and that number is almost certain to rise. Helene now the deadliest hurricane to hit the mainland United States since Katrina almost 2 decades ago. Rescues still going on almost 7 days later. Sam Brock is following this still unfolding tragedy from Asheville, North Carolina. And Sam, so many people are still unaccounted for.
Yeah, Lester, that was the real revelation right now. Buncombe County saying that figure went from 4 yesterday to 200 tonight. But with homes and debris on the roads like the ones behind me and communication gaps, it's a figure that is constantly fluctuating. Almost 7 days after Hurricane Helene battered large stretches of the South, the search for those unaccounted for continues as new stories of survival come to light.
The water rose so fast and got so strong that I just had to grab a post and hold on.
The devastating death totals only expected to grow. So far, at least 215 fatalities now confirmed across 6 different states. From Florida's Pinellas County, with around a dozen drownings, to Georgia's statewide suffering, recording more than 30 fatalities. And then there's North Carolina, where more than 100 have died. And search and rescue efforts have taken some miraculous turns. Former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle using a private helicopter to deliver supplies, spotting a stranded survivor only because he was hoisting a mirror, also in the mountains. Employees of Skyfire AI firing up their drone and showing us how they work with governments and even private companies to locate the missing.
Aid for local law enforcement to help search and rescue, to help find routes, to better get aid in and out.
We take a bird's eye view of the destruction in Burnsville, North Carolina, an hour outside of Asheville. Is this the area they've been searching?
There has been a lot of search and rescue in this area. I know it's been very difficult for them to get up here. And this is one of the areas they're saying still needs a lot of supplies to get moved in.
On this day, choppers, likely medevacs, fly overhead as the Skyfire team shows us roads that have been buckled, broken, and chopped off. All the while, families wait.
We've had conversations with people who haven't seen their loved ones in a week, and it's completely heartbreaking.
Their efforts even helping companies like CVS, who determine road and bridge status so they could get medications to patients in need quickly, and search for several employees who were unaccounted for following the storm. The damage on the ground, in this case an access bridge by a local quarry that's all but gone, indicative of the challenges that lie ahead for restoring infrastructure like water. Swannanoa Fire Chief Anthony Penland addressing the decimated pipes.
I don't think there's a word to describe it. I don't know how long this is going to take.
For so many tonight, the road ahead is long, but their mere survival is something to celebrate.
The front door, the water pushed it in and it pushed in the back door. And within 30 seconds, it went from the ground to neck level.
Sam Brock, NBC News, Asheville, North Carolina.
Joining me now is Deanne Criswell, FEMA Administrator. Administrator Criswell, thank you for being with us. I know you were back in the air in a chopper today. Are you seeing places that you simply can't get to on the ground still?
Lester, we are. We're seeing communities that are still isolated and having a difficult time getting commodities, talking to local officials and hearing about how they're getting food and water up into some of these more isolated parts of their communities. But we're seeing everybody come together, local, state, federal, nonprofit, private sector, really coming together to make a difference.
As the lead federal agency on the ground there, what's the order of priority right now?
it is still life safety. There's a lot of search and rescue teams here on the ground. We want to make sure that we're getting them into the communities. The next one is the commodity delivery, keeping that flow of commodities moving into the communities, making sure we're reaching people that perhaps haven't been reached yet. And then the next big one is going to be the water restoration. Once we can get that water restored, we know a lot of people are going to be able to start their recovery process.
You mentioned a search mission. Is there a recovery mission though right now? Are you accounting for those we have not heard from since the beginning of all this?
That's the big focus for the state and all the local officials here, is making sure that they do account for everybody. And so they are still searching and trying to make sure we've reached everybody. We hope to find more and reunite those that haven't been accounted for with their loved ones.
Let me quickly ask you about what people should expect from FEMA right now. You know there's frustration. What's your response?
We've been moving commodities, people, resources into this area since before the storm hit. We are going to continue to bring those resources in, listening to the local officials. One of the reasons I'm here is so I can see firsthand what's needed. And people should know that we are going to be here till every person has everything they need.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about.
So, that being said, I want to also, before I go down my list here, okay, another thing that pisses me off, okay, again, with technology and what we have, and just not just with me, but just the resources we have. We're going to be the top dog in this world on what we call Earth and say we're the #1 country. We need to damn well start acting like it, okay? We got all this technology regarding drones, from gaming to just fun or whatever. Okay, we got people who buy them by the pound, but you cannot seem to find a way to keep them charged or whatever. And you know this is coming. Okay, we should not just wait till the Army Corps of Engineers decide to get there, or somebody from a construction company. People should have these things flying off the airs left and right, where you should not even barely see the ground, darn near. Where buying these things, you should have it in these type of situations. You should have drones. Okay, for just like having a generator and everything else, you don't know if you have your, whether from your farm animals, somebody taking your stuff, your children, whatever. Okay, you should have these things. I know people say, why a damn drone? Because it's your life that's depending on it. Okay, start thinking outside the box. So you could find people. You saw the video of the man holding a mirror, reflector. He being smart. Okay. Something you do. Look, I'm not going to pick on how the education system in the South has failed everybody. It seems like it's failing the whole damn country right now. You can't think of physics, common sense for the lack of anything else. You can figure out all types of ways to get coupons and get your girlfriend for Bed Bath & Beyond and Bath & Body Works for coupons and every damn thing else, and figure out coupon. You can figure out all the doggone groups in there that talk about whatever chat group going on for whatever going on a damn housewife or some reality show, but you can't figure out how to save and get everything else for your family. You're a damn lie. You failed each other. Okay. Now, on top of that, we got all this technology. You and I both know we got plenty of technology. You can sit there and host the doggone thing and host the doggone satellite. Antenna, and get all the antennas in the world for what you need for cell phone. I get the first 24, 48 hours to a point, but after that, it shouldn't be no trouble. Boom, drop it. There you go. You know, we can do it in the middle of, why should it be just because we don't got oil? You saw how fast everything was when Texas got destroyed with the ice storm a few years back, and last year with their hurricane. Everything got up pretty fast in the signals. Why? Because it got oil. In the Middle East, you find everything else what we need in Afghanistan. Boom, we got it up. Why? Oil. But just because there's not a whole lot of oil in the middle of the damn mountains, that don't mean the people don't care. You should have, if you could provide it for one area in the world or even in the country, you should be able to provide it for everybody. And that's where that comes in. Queen.
Are you mad at the people? Are you mad at the government for their responses?
I'm mad at everybody, all of it, everybody, because it's just stupid at this point. That the fires, all of this stuff is just common sense. We're destroying ourselves. This is not, there's a level of effort and some level of accountability. We're destroying ourselves. And we're not being responsible. I'm tired of the aspect of saying, don't tell me what to do. I'm tired of everything. And then when something happens, you want to call 911. My grandma, my auntie, or whatever is stuck in the water, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's just the fact of the matter is I'm sorry and things like that, or whatever's going on. But it's your responsibility to put your damn foot down in your family and say you're not going to live. You're 70-something, 80-something with major cancer. You're in a wheelchair, diabetes, mental health, whatever going on, and that you know that you need to have immediate care. And you're going to sit there and let them in. You need to go on in full blazes, family get together, screw whatever problems you got and disagreements with your family, and get it together and pull your people out of these areas and bring them to you. We got to restore the love and faith in our families and all our cultures. We're broken and things, and stop letting excuses and relying on other people and things like that going on, and you can't get that, and you know what's going on. Another example for this is what even happened with New York about 10 years or so ago, superstorm or weather related. It was a damn hurricane, and people did that, but all of this stuff, and you knew it was coming. They said it for a doggone week, but for some reason, the whole tri-state area act like it wasn't going to happen, and boom, it took.
But where are they supposed to go? So some of these people legitimately don't have places to go. I agree with you that some people don't take the precautions, but what about the people that don't? What are they supposed to do? Like, and how quickly? And I understand the government is supposed to react. I understand, but in those like looking at that carnage, how are they supposed to get things immediately in there until the storm has settled? Like, we can't prevent the storm.
No, but I can tell you this. Don't get me wrong. Some things can happen, but there's a lot of things forthright thinking. The steel and the brick and mortar buildings and things like that, but the steel ones that are held up. Why? Because you're building the hurricanes. You saw the damage in the Peninsula Islands. No, I'm saying it wrong. In Florida area in the counties. Okay, yes, there was some damage and things, but you see how they're right on the water. Some of them have held up. And things up to 200 miles an hour wind. Why? Because we build it to standard. Okay,
but
at some point in time,
they learned after they've fallen down once.
Right.
Now they have rebuilt.
Right, but it's like after the 200th hurricane, you decided to do something right. But okay, these buildings and these communities, for example, let's use here. You know it's going to get hot. You know you have seniors that don't have certain things or whatever, don't have heat, may not be able to turn in the AC during the summer, excuse me. So you got cooling stations. Just you have weather emergency stations. Everybody pick your tail up and go. Wheelchairs, this, that, and the other. And on top of all of that, that's what the local could do in the families. But what the city and the government could do is, you know, we have over 780-something thousand people in National Guard and Reserve. This is what you are trained for. Okay, everything you deploy everybody up and out, and you hustle everybody's tail, knock, knock, knock. You are diabetic, you got an oxygen machine, you're in a wheelchair, whatever. You coming out. It's my home. Tough titty. Get your ass out, and we're going to bring you into this shelter and things like that, because what you're not going to do, okay, is sit up here and risk another officer's life or first responders. They already get out enough as it is for the day-to-day basis, from drug dealers, from emergency accidents, whatever the case may be. God bless you, first responders. Thank you. But you got enough to deal with. Okay. So now you want me to do my job, the Hippocratic Oath, as a doctor, nurse, or a first responder, come out to save you that could have been prevented. And now my life is gone because I'm trying to save you, which could have been gone. And that's resources that could have gone to somebody else, or saving something else that could have been gone.
Okay, so then instead of forcing, okay, because I understand that everybody has a choice, and you're exactly right.
Some things is not more.
But maybe attach a consequence to that instead of just. Here's the thing. People do not like to be told what to do. I heard you earlier say that it doesn't matter, dang this, dang that. But listen to me. So let's find an even playing field. Okay, let's go to the person's house who has the oxygen tanks and all the wheelchairs. Hey, there's an evacuation. There's a storm coming. Within 48 hours, we will need you to have evacuate. In the event that you choose that this is your home, I know it's kind of petty. Have some type of disclosure. Have something written. So you made this decision. So we're not allocating our resources to you immediately because you made this decision. That is a little bit. They do it in apartment complexes all the time. They send out letters. Yes.
What you're explaining, they already told that. Like the governor, the city, the governor, the senator, the mayors all said this already ahead, that we're not going to come out to get you. It may be days, if not weeks, depending on how bad the storm is. Okay. The thing is, the penalty of your own life is not enough of a deterrent. for some people. Sad to say. And what people got to understand is that the decisions you make from darn near, except for maybe of a baby at an early age, but the decisions you make right now don't just affect you. We have to start embedding this in our children and our adults, and for those who got the mental capacity to understand reasoning and logic. And obviously, I may be a tall stretch in today's world, but sorry, you do not have the benefit to waste time anymore on this earth. We do not know how much more we are blessed with. So we best do our best to do the best what we can right now and going forward and take care of what we have, which is our lives and everybody else and things. So because you're correct. If we didn't, I would say you're definitely correct, and that would be the way to go 1960, 1970. But we ain't living in that type of world anymore. Okay. Every year, the technology is always going to be technology. A pen and paper and a ruler, the protractor, the Texas Instrument calculator, all that's technology. Okay. It's always going to be something new every few years. But it made big leaps in the 50s and the 80s. And the stuff was there. What everything else. We built from the 1920s on, we built structures that could handle 300. We didn't have 300, but up to 300 miles an hour winds. So it's been there. But let me follow due service. Excuse me. Let me give you the things. So some of the issues that people have discussed about and regarding FEMA is that many criticize FEMA for not having adequate shelters or providing clear evacuation guidelines, leading to more people staying in unsafe areas. That's on the people. Because I'm sorry, you can't, on certain things, you can't say the government. Some things you got to have some self-preservation and common sense on your own.
Right. That's what I was talking about. Because see, some of these things, like you can't then say what you're not going to do when the government has asked you and put something in place for you, then refuse it and then get mad at them because they don't have the resources after your choices. That's what I'm talking
about. Right. Okay.
Okay.
That aspect. Yes. Okay. You're absolutely correct. Insufficient communication, power outages, and poor mobile service disrupt FEMA's ability to keep people informed. That is on FEMA and just general government and both city, state, federal.
Keeping them informed of what though? Let's be fair. If you turn on the TV, everybody knew it was coming. Everybody knew where it was going to turn left or right. So before we start blaming FEMA, you're just wanting to know that you're going to get whatever you need if in the event it hits you. Let's call a spade a spade.
No, I agree with you. You're correct. I'm talking about in terms of, okay, now that is, well, two things. One, prevention. Start putting these power lines underground. That's one. Now, granted, in this situation,
that is part of the infrastructure bill.
Right.
Okay.
Right. No, you're correct. You're correct. But it should not. But right now, that is being held up between the Congress. But
that's something else. But that is in the bill, just so everybody knows that putting all that underground is necessary. Okay.
Right. Because in the 1950s, that's when the national highway, we spent billions of dollars fixing all the building international highways to create the country together, connecting the country together. And things from the 1950s on, and things you wouldn't. If Silk was here, she would know. She was 20 years old at the time, but she would, go from there. I was so get it, Bill.
Oh, she's gonna get you. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that caveat in there, and I'm waiting. She coming from somewhere. She coming for you. Okay.
She might be watching now, but okay. I'll be fair. She was 30, but anyway. But we built the highways. We took care of the things that we needed to do, so we can now, like they said, commodities and resources and other things. You can get it what you needed out to the other countries, so we prepare further along. Okay, so that battery. Okay, you knew. I can't hear anything. Where's your? We had to crank. Devices you can crank, charge your battery, charge your phone, solar devices, whatever the power. It does not look. Two AA batteries can power your radio for like up to 5 days, 24 hours straight. I mean, come on now, really, people. What's your problem? And right now, what's wrong in purchasing and saving the purchase of a satellite phone or have an emergency prepaid phone available just so you can have it available and keep that crap to charge and have a mobile battery.
Some people don't know that. So while you're saying what's wrong, I want you to make sure that you are also planning to educate people, because there are some people that don't know this. So if we're going to,
is it Family Dollar and Dollar General is all over the damn South?
Okay. If you are worried about whether or not you're going to eat a meal the next day, that doggone satellite phone don't matter. So let's be fair. While we are complaining, while we are talking about what they don't have, I want you to be fair, because I hear your passion, but I want a solution at the end of all this passion. Okay.
Oh yeah. I got you.
Okay.
I got you. You know, I've always been knowing I may got something to say, but I'm gonna back it up and things, because you know, even if it's not satellite, if you're hungry, what to prepare you so you won't be hungry, and foods and cans and everything. But that's another thing. They talked about slow distribution of supplies. Now that's going to be a difficult thing in different areas, because again, too many people think, and my words and my concerns are from a global, holistic aspect. Okay. Too many people make decisions and thoughts and say out their mouths thinking of what their own perspective in the local area. How the infrastructure and roads and things work in Asheville is different in Greensboro, different in Raleigh, different in Murfreesboro, different in Georgia, different in Tampa or wherever. Okay. Too many people that don't understand. This is what happens when you don't culture and talk to people and travel and things, because this is when you don't have a clear understanding how the world operates. But this is where you need to be flexible and have a diverse set of skills and resources, because you never know. Okay. Unless that doggone sun is not ever going to come back, then we're going to be frozen. But, you know, it's going to be a problem. But you have to have a flexibility of these things. Thus, you know, okay. Common sense for me, if I'm going to, let's say, live in the mountains and 30 miles from a grocery store and I got my farm or whatever, over time, how come I cannot seem to have at least 10 cases, 20 cases of water, buy a case of water every other day, a paycheck or whatever? It's not like getting a hurricane every day.
Stephen, Mr. LP, common sense ain't common. Please stop thinking that everybody has the same level of emotional intelligence and maturity. I need you to be fair. Common sense ain't common. So everybody, if you are always in survival mode, you're trying to do other things, okay? We're talking about different. I'm not discounting that. But if I live in the mountains, I might have water, but it's going to run out also. I need making statements like common sense.
But if I have 10 cases of water, at least it gets you somewhere. You know, 10 cases of water.
Exactly. Or a filter. Or get you a filter, right? Like cases, there are certain things. Let's talk about basic. Let's get out of the technology piece. Surviving.
Well, I say cases of water. I mean, there ain't too much more from that. But you know, and you're correct. Just to give people, well, they already updated it's over 200 so in different states. Right now, the damage is already estimated over $50 billion worth of significant destruction for storm surge, flooding, and wind damage. And this might be historical numbers of everything else. The total world rainfall in some areas have been experiencing over 30 inches of rain within a 24-hour thing. That's biblical numbers.
It is.
And things like that. That is biblical numbers. I know.
I was in Greensboro on Monday, just driving and just riding through the puddles. Like we had flood warnings while it was raining in the areas in which I was driving. And I immediately, people don't understand, pay attention to those the water that you're going through, or don't go. There's some stuff people don't know, Mr. LP.
If your car is low, I think people think that. I think one of the dangers is that because of things have been advanced, sometimes people think they're invincible. Oh, my car, I drive a low. A lot of cars are low, so I can just drive through the water. Not
even if I have a truck, and not even if you have a truck. You need to be mindful.
Right,
Like you don't know where that water stops, so you got to be mindful of. Like that's the common sense I told you about. That's not common.
Right. And even then, okay, and now with the trucks and even the SUVs and everything, no matter how hard you got jacked up, now we are things are much more electronic than mechanical, even on the gas power. So you riding through 7-10 inches worth of water, what do you think is going to happen to your vehicle? And then your dumbness on this thing, you just adding more salt and damage and whatever, sulfur and God knows anything else underneath your vehicle, and now you got to spray and get that clean. So just something to think about. Over 400 roads have been closed, but many bridges and sections of highway have been washed away. Water rescue, shelter availability, debris removal. There's going to be a lot of work where we need the debris removal. I think there needs to be more coordination with the NAGARD on that. Housing assistance, flood insurance claims, health and safety things, so forth. So now, before I go to the next section, I want to be fair. I always have my stuff ready. So for those who are in need, I know your mind is like, okay, yeah, I'll talk about mess, but I'm going to back it up. FEMA, those who you're not. Now I'm going to tell you, I worked in various IT and all these departments and things over the years, and also in administration. So I have some familiarity with all of these things on a consistent basis. And honestly, I keep up with it, honestly, just because I'm just like to know these things to be prepared. Keep this number, and 1-800, for those who may not be watching, the number is 800-621-3362. The website is disasterassistance.gov. Again, that's disasterassistance.gov. It's also available for mobile site, regardless of all Android, Apple platforms, Android, and for iOS and what you need. They also do have apps you can download for other things and quick immediate assistance. They also have an emergency button on certain sites that you go through that you need. Please be mindful that, listen, I may be fussing, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's no shame when it comes to your life. Okay, we talk about self-preservation, all these other things. If you are who you say you are as a human being, whether you're a faithful person or not, and not agnostic, I don't care. I value you and I love you as a life. Okay, those who are in prison, you may have committed murder, those who are in drugs, those who are on the street, those who are suffering mental health, whatever the case may be, call this number. Go to this website if you can. And if you want to also donate and provide assistance, call this number and go to this website. They need your help. Okay. The next thing is also for those, this is a very catastrophic thing. I've seen, having worked in, just experiencing in New York, in the South, seeing the fires firsthand out west, and also have been involved in third world countries, developing countries, and seeing bridges out, fires, trees down, whatever, and seeing people fall to their knees where, a house falling on a house and somebody was in it or not, anything else. This is overwhelming. You just don't know. You done lost your license, your ID, who you are, all these different things. And we put so much of our identity and things in our hands and we don't prepare ourselves. And when you have some level of preparation, it makes it easy. But that aside, I'd rather you call. Hell, you can send an email to me. You can send an email to Miss Walston. I'd rather you talk with you versus talking about how good, nice of a person you are at your funeral because you did something to yourself or something happened to you. Okay, that's on the real. The number, if you're experiencing emotional distress or you have some other, Miss Walston, you being a licensed person, please let me know if I'm saying this incorrectly. But please call this number 1-800-985-5990. Again, that's 1-800-985-5990, or text Talk With Us. With is spelled out Talk, TALK, with WITHUS, to 66746. Again, Talk With Us to 66746. Ms. Walston, you have something.
I'm going to also add, if you're in the Virginia area, there's an actual hub, and you simply, wherever you are, if you're in need of crisis assistance, dial 988. You will be directed to a hub that will go ahead and do an assessment to see what your needs are, and they will provide you with crisis help. Okay. So please utilize these things because nobody can tell you what you're going through. Nobody can tell you what a crisis is. If you feel overwhelmed and you're feeling detached or you're feeling like you would harm yourself or harm someone else, please make sure you contact 988 on your cellular phone if you're in the state of Virginia.
Right. Also, if you are if you're in any state, but you can also call 911. They will also connect you to some things, and depending on the situation, they will connect you directly to the National Guard because they're providing overwatch on things. In addition, for those who do not know, when you call 911, one of the important reasons, I know part of it they say because of drugs and trafficking and sex trafficking, but one of the other things about when you purchase a cell phone or any communication device, it's important to put in your address for 911 purposes so it can comes up for emergency response services. Because when you call out, it is the general area, not necessarily pinpoint unless they got that send signal out. So this whole mess about I don't want people to find me, I don't want my location and all this other stuff, cut that noise. Okay, your life is much more important than you worrying about privacy, this, that, and the other. Yes, I want to know where you're at in your house and your details. So when I come to your house and then your house may be collapsed, I could have the systems and things in place to see heat and signatures. I could send a robot. I can call the sniffing dogs, whatever, to try to save your life if anything happens to you. Okay, so those same type of things is important. I've seen it firsthand. How those to get going, and then also for those who are not affected with the weather and the rain, but you want to be affected. You want to ensure that this does not happen to you, or if it's happening to you, proactive. And also, if something's happened and you're not sure what's going on and you're not able to reach your insurance agent, which is going to maybe a difficult time at this point in time. National Flood Insurance Program claims 1-800-427-4661. Again, 1-800-427-4661. Okay, this is going to be important. Also, before you start doing anything, it's going to be hard. Before you start doing anything, start taking pictures of anything and everything in every single picture. Be honest, you should have at least 500 to 1,000 images. And they may not want it, but you have it anyway for your own records, okay, at minimum. Every square inch, every damaged spot, from a spot to a whole wall, everything, because that's going to be important for your claim. One of the things that I did years ago is I used to have a home inventory business. What we did is we would collect information, measure, take pictures of your items, serial number, bar number, or we report certain items, clothes, all these different things. And we sold safes. We encourage banks that had good services for safe deposit box, all these different things. We provided you a CD and a flash drive. And you keep one home, and you also keep one in a separate location that's secure, and also a data backup online. So then we would every 6 months we encourage to refresh your items. And it was a service $400 to $600, $400 to $700 or something like that, because it took some time. And people didn't see, another man coming home taking a picture of all my stuff, blah, blah, blah. But it's important for situations like this, and also estate planning, divorces, records for children, whatever. So these things are important. So when you have situations like this, it's helpful that you have accurate records and printouts. If you can, laminate it, but at least you have these records so you can say, well, hey, I had 10 TVs. I mean, I had a bed, I had this, that, and the other. What's the proof? You can say it's all damaged. You took it from some other place, put it there. Stuff like that does happen. So now,
can we go back to the flood insurance? So I want to make sure people understand that, the first thing people holler out is that I have insurance, I've got renter's insurance, I've got this insurance on my house. Please be mindful that most of these insurance companies do not cover floods. So most of the time you have to get a separate policy. So if it's not happening to you now, God, I hope not, but please be mindful. You need to know what type of insurance you have for each of these natural disasters that occur and what they actually cover. Okay.
Exactly. It doesn't hurt to have additional, maybe hurt down the line, but I'm going to tell you, in situations like that, you're going to be so terribly happy, because it may be hard at that moment right now, but when time comes around, they can't say crap to you. and things. And so those type of things are very, very important.
Yes, invest in your black box. Get your own, like he said, even if you cannot get that service, invest in your own little black box. So to carry your personal documents.
Fireproof. We're about to get into that right now. So homegirl told me to stop all this trash talking and to have some solutions. Come on, girl. Who you think you're talking to? I'm Mr. LP. Of course I got solutions. So first and foremost in things, we're going to talk about each one of these things, and we're going to go, I have a few, so we're going to go over quite a bit in things. So and I may not get all the words on there because it's, limited in terms of how much we can put on the screen at a time, but keep a list of medications on multiple platforms and things. Okay. Ensure that you have a list of medications that's easily accessible across multiple platforms, including your cell phone, your email, and laminated physical copies. Okay. So when they get damaged, they're not ripped up and things like that. So, the list of medicines. I want to tell you, whatever health workers you got going on, I can tell you for the things that's going on with me, they got annoyed, but I got 10 different people that got it. Okay. It's not about, I'm trying to let everybody know in my business and what have you. Screw that. If something happens, if I come over to Miss Walston's house and she feeds me my steak dinner and she falls out and things like that. Now, at first, my first thought was, gee, I know I'm that damn handsome, but still, other than that, she falls out. Oh, something else wrong. And I get her EpiPen or whatever. I want to be able to say she got this going on. Okay, so that's what happens. I try to be involved. I love my friends. I love my family. I love you. So if something's going on, I want to have some type of relative information, what's going on and resources and what may work for you with that health with another person and how they treat it may not always work for another. And be mindful, and again, people of color, certain medications, they will tell you on the bottle, they'll say certain things don't work for certain people and cultures, and keep that in mind. It's not to necessarily play that game of anything else, but it's just a bit of a safety issue. Thoughts, Queen?
Medication. So the nice thing about medications, especially if your doctor's care coordinate, like you were talking about, you should have access to your medications online at one of those portals, whether it be the pharmacy that you utilize, CVS. What is that? My chart.
Yeah, Epic. There's a bunch of them built on that Epic platform. My chart, my place, whatever. There's a whole bunch of them.
Hilo. Yeah. So your medications, if you don't have a copy, at least you can get a copy on your phone or on an app. So make sure you have some of these apps downloaded. It is okay to have your personal health apps downloaded because it also has your history, your allergies. The Hilo app that I have for my PCP covers all of my doctors. And it would be easy to give somebody that you trust your password. It's only like 4 digits. Put it in there. You can pull up all of your health history. So you can have access to that. Also, always have a printed copy somewhere. Know who your emergency contact is, and your emergency contact should be aware. All of this, I don't want somebody in my business, whoever you have listed, it's not for when you fall out. It's to let them know when you fall out, you are aware of what could be going on possibly with that person. Do not hide your health. Okay? That's the worst thing in the world. Do not hide your health. If it's nobody else, tell one. That's it.
Exactly. I'm going to get to that. I'm glad you mentioned that. The next thing I'm having is have physical copies of essential documents such as birth certificate, driver's license, social security card, property deeds, proof of home ownership, all of that. Copies that needs to be digitally laminated and it'll be 3 or 4 different places. Okay, sorry, it costs a little bit, but it'll save your life in the long run because that's going to help in situations like this. These people have no proof of identity on their own, and I'm also going to throw into this waterproof. Besides your safe and the waterproof devices, I'm also going to say your fingerprints as well.
Lamination.
Right. Heaven forbid if your life is no longer with us and things, we need to have this your fingerprints so then they can easily and correctly identify you. And it's a lot easier. We saw this in COVID. It's a lot easier, even those who may not have been dead, who were not dead, but they were just unconscious and ventilators and what have you, or intubated, or you're in a coma, whatever. It's a lot easier that you have these records available. So then that way you can make it easier. So then your family can get to you and make some better, more important decisions when something happens. So that's right there. and also scan it.
Yeah,
And, scan it, encrypt it, and then encrypted USB flash drive. Pretty cheap, everybody. $5. And
email it to yourself somewhere. Put
Thank
it somewhere in the cloud. Email and parents, please keep. And I know this is crazy. Keep up to date shot records for your children.
Amen.
Laminate those things. You also need those things. You can get copies of these things from your DMV, from your Social Security office. You can even get your Social Security number online. Like they can send you a copy. So it's the couple of steps for you to just cover yourself, period. Make sure you have copies of your deeds. And these type of natural disasters, that's something you don't want to lose, because if you lost the house, that is still a property. There is still of some value. These are things that people are not going to tell you. That's why these insurances are necessary. That's why you need to understand the land that you own and your rights to certain things. So
I remember an episode, not to get off topic, but I remember an episode and I love it ever since, Cosby Show. And when I laugh, because when there are, certain shows, they always do repeats. Almost every other station before cable was gotten really big, or streaming got big. Every other station that redoes the Sanford Sons, Good Times, Cosby Show, Cheers, Friends, whatever, late night shows, or 2 a.m. or 6 or 7, whatever. Syndication, excuse me, that's the word. The one episode I'd always noticed that was never shown a whole lot was when the lady Claire in Heathcliff had this lady over. Her husband passed away, and she was scared. If you remember, because her husband handled everything, the documents, the money, the bank, did not know what to do. And she's like, I don't know how to pay my bills. My house is about to be lost. So whatever. I can't remember the whole conversation. White lady in a black dress. And Claire said, don't worry, I can help you. She's a lawyer. That's what, could definitely help you with those type of things. Not everybody going to have a Claire help available. And this is where that time and time again, I need for both men and women, and teach your children how money works and how things in protection and identification and serial numbers and all these encryption numbers, everything. When I sit there and talk about 128, 256 bit encryption or whatever, it's not just a joke and I'm talking over your head. I'm trying to save your life. See, everything that I do, from technology to grants to business to social media to this and this show, is two things: growth and protection. I'm trying to help you grow, and I'm trying to protect you in some form or way. And information provides all of that from there. I think did I go with this? Yeah, we talked about this a little bit, but a comprehensive list of emergency contacts, including local authorities, utilities, hospitals, trusted neighbors, should be accessible both physically and digitally. Okay. In addition, and your kids to know this number or whatever. I'm not expecting you to know everything, but something. If your kid can learn all these songs and the rap songs on MTV at 2, 3, 4 years old, you can learn this. I know you're telling me, I didn't hear what you said, but I know you're telling me to stop it.
Stop it. Stay prepared and store a comprehensive list. We can't attack on it. We want them to listen. We want them to work with us. Okay, come on now, be fair.
It's funny. Or I didn't hear you. The sound didn't come through, but I already knew what you were saying. All the words can get it on the screen, but have a network of friends and family for emergency plans and contact fans. So if something happens, I got on a friend, Ron Bryant, love the man. He's in Florida. It wasn't his area, but still prepared. I fussed him out. And I said, dude, I don't give a dang. He's older, but I said, I don't care how old you are, how young you are. You ain't grown. Something happens, a storm in your area, you need to call me and let me know that you're safe. You and your family are safe. I didn't hear from him for a few days. I cussed him out because I'm like, I don't play that and things. High school friends, college, whatever. I care about you and things like that because this world, you don't know. You're here today, gone yesterday. So I mean, I'll be there. Say it again.
We're going to talk about this aggression, this aggressive love that you got going on here for the people around. We're going to talk about this aggressive love. And I'm happy that you're aggressively loving people. I know I feel safe, but my God,
But I mean, like, I'm just sorry. You're in the pathway of things, and then there's no power, nothing going on, and things like you have no right to sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm okay. I don't care." Call, send a text. I'm safe, and things like that. Hey, I'm sorry. It's just things like that happen. But have emergency contacts so that you know who could get to you. So if, for example, something happens or whatever, I could send a message and everybody has contacts of all the people say, hey, Steven's sick, this happened, whatever. Just experienced it not too long ago when I got sick and went out and everything else. So I understand and so forth. Miss Walston can't change the tire to her Porsche. She can press a button. Also, there's an app.
I'm about to text you because, see, I didn't know you were sick until after. So I didn't get that report. So should I be cussing you out now or cussing you out later? I got it after the fact.
Well, you didn't read. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I can't keep up with it. Just like you said.
I recall the message being, I thought I sent this out, but I'm sending it. 3 weeks later. That message is still sitting in the sent, but I got you though. That's fine because we cussing people out around here now. Okay.
It was online.
Oh, okay. That's no problem. No problem.
But I'm also going to post in here. There's an app called Life 360. I need everybody to download this app on. I keep saying iTunes. But yeah, I guess you can go there. But on Apple, iOS, and Android store, Play Store. It's an app you can download your friends and family on it, and with it, you can connect. And also has some additional features and things. You can turn off the notifications and updates, but I plead with you, don't turn it off, especially with children. But in situations like this and things like that, what's going on, it's very important for people to connect and what happens. I'm not trying to necessarily track and follow where you are, but at least if I have your last known location, and this is good for traveling. And also those, especially those who are suffering from intellectual disabilities as well, that you can focus and have some safety aspect for you. So that's a very important thing to have. I'm quite sure that's the correct word to use, intellectual disabilities. Is that the correct phrase?
Intellectual disabilities, yes. Yeah,
okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. The next one is emergency for those with medical needs. Ensure that you have at least 2 weeks of supplies of medication and other necessities, inhalers, insulin, oxygen stored securely, considering having an emergency. So I'm going to tell you, if you your basement, not the closet in the room next to the front of the house, but the basement, sheds, that not the paper sheds, the steels and the bricks and things, all that type of stuff for these days, especially those with, and try not to have the gas and the oxygen and everything else work and stuff like that. So, just be careful. And I also need people to understand, we watch a lot of movies and we think the gas is going to immediately explode and things like that. Not necessarily, okay? The bullet or strike or something like that, unless it has enough of a force and things, even if a bullet, it punctures and goes through. But it depends on how much oxygen is inside that gas tank. Okay, so if it's enough and you have enough of a spark, and depending if it's too much damp air or it's just dry, then you have a chance. But if it's so much damp air, moisture, all these other things going on, if you're storing it securely, it's not going to start a fire immediately. It just leak. Okay, but now when you start adding other elements, chemicals, oxygen tank, blah, 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 then you got a problem. Okay, so try to store it in separate areas, but just be safe about those medical supplies. So those things are very important and things like that. So, thank you. So that's very important to have when needed for situations like this. Would you agree with that, ma'am?
Me, yes, but I was going to say something, but I'm gonna wait because I know there's more words on that's supposed to come up.
Right, I couldn't do them all. Right, but
so before I make a statement, but your emergency stuff that's good. So I'll wait to see what else is there.
Well, it was emergency medical kits as well.
Right,
exactly. That's very important. That's something that hurricane. I don't care. Every family in a house should have emergency medical kit and a fire extinguisher. Right. I think that a fire extinguisher should be just as much of a law. My mom got laughed. She'll tell you this story, a laugh. When we were in school, I don't know if it's like third grade, fourth grade, something. We learned, fireman came by. We're gonna do this, that, and the other. So, get in my face. He's nothing but every school. Ha ha ha. No, we're gonna have a fire. So I bugged them until we went and brought. When I took the dang picture, I took the receipt. The picture, the receipt. I took a Kodak thing, took the picture, and got it developed and the receipt. Took it to school. I want my damn A, but so we're gonna do it and things like that. So proactive, and we kept it, and I kept, and you watch the lever to see how over the years it goes down. And we had a fire extinguisher when the vacuum cleaner blew up and caught fire. It took all that. These things are very important that we should have.
This is my suggestion if it's not on your list. I believe, now this is my belief, that everybody should take $60 for them and their children and take a CPR and first aid course. I think everybody should be required. This is how you help, because your resources are internal, and it starts with the people who are experiencing that disaster. There are too many people that have talked about their loved ones not being conscious, not knowing how to administer Narcan, not knowing how to do simple as just no breath CPR, first aid, knowing how to hold a wound, knowing how to make sure their baby doesn't choke. I think it is necessary that all families, not because of a job, but just because of life, that is a survival skill that you should need to know, in my humble opinion. CPR, first aid, blood pathogens, stuff like that, so you are aware. These are cheap courses.
How many people don't? How many people don't even know their blood type?
Okay. What is very necessary, like let's say if you get caught in one of these, you've got to go to one of these shelters and they have to administer blood. They might have to transfer. They might have to give you something. These are things you need to know. Okay. Before they get there, you need to be prepared. So that's why my suggestion: first aid, CPR, simple. It takes an hour or two. Okay.
The next one, we talked about this a little bit: ability to reserve a bottle of water, daily 1 gallon per person per day. I think that was updated. I don't know if it was 1 gallon, 2, but I remember it was always 1 gallon. But I thought the reports the last couple of years it said 2 gallons, but for a minimum of 7 days. And non-perishable food items such as canned goods, dry snacks, and baby food. Those things and don't solely rely on tap water, and water purification tablets. Very, very, very cheap. And filtration systems and stuff. That water filtration tablets, let me tell you something. Those things are a lifesaver like anything. You really need to get those. Very important. The next one is trying to pull it up on the screen. This is sticking on me. But there we go. Ensure you have emergency generators to power essential devices, refrigerator, medical equipment, communication tools, and gasoline and fuel to run the generator for several days. Safety guidelines to make sure, like I was talking about earlier, safety guidelines to storing fuel to avoid accidents. One of the things that happens, people tend, in the rush of these emergency things, sometimes people forget safety because, like you say, you're in your emergency. You have to keep your wits about you. And be careful because you don't want to cause an additional accident. Or as you think, there's gas lines all of these places and stuff like that. So you don't want to cause an additional accident. Something breaks. Do you have a generator?
No, I do not have a generator. But I'm a survivor. So I understand the need for certain things, but when the hurricane hit, whatever year, I can't remember what that was, the freezer was full. I had charcoal. I also keep my disaster box. I cooked every day. And I didn't just eat. The neighborhood ate, or whoever would come by, because we're not going to waste this food. There's just certain things like I keep batteries, I keep candles, and I know how to sit still. I sometimes you do need to sit still, and for me, sometimes God is making you sit still. So if you have prepared, you can be still. Okay, there's some things you have to move out of, but sometimes when the disaster hits, you lose your power, your lights, and all of these different things. I sit still, and I prepare myself to sit still.
Amen. Amen. If anything, I tell people who are agnostic, non-believers, or whatever your faith may or not be, if nothing else, and if it just calm your heart and your mind. That's not. There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in that at all. Maintain proper insurance coverage. We talked about that. Family communication plan. One thing was a family communication plan. We talked about this, and Ms. Walston, I want you to elaborate your thoughts on this, because I know you, in working with children, you've talked about this in the past, and even with your own children. Your child says, if you're not home or something happens, you get separated, you should know where to go. So, like at the mall, information desk,
Right.
police officer, aid. I knew that if something happens, if I came home and I see my door open as a house, I knew not to go in. Go to the neighbor. When we got separated on the buses and things like that, I knew to go across the street and wait before they come home. Just little safety things like that. And also, too many kids, it may be I don't think it's as much of a thing now as it used to be. And I don't know. It's different everywhere. Because now with kids knowing so much information now with technology, I'm not so sure it's as big of an issue. But know your parents' name. Like, what's your mom's name, Mama? You know, they're 5 or 6. You know, or you know your mom's name by what everybody else, but you don't really know her real name. You know, or you know,
that sounds so crazy to me. Like that just like something. And you know what? It's because I can see that when it comes to like aunts and uncles, because I know that for like 20 years I didn't know some of my uncles and aunts' names, and I would just like Uncle Buddy, like you know what I'm saying. And so kids might not know their parents' name. And here's the thing: know their phone number. See, here's the thing: if you don't have a cell phone and you're out, we don't know phone numbers. I'm more concerned of them not knowing how to contact somebody, because everything is listed already in their phone. What if your phone breaks? What if you don't know who to contact? Yes.
One of the other things was that I knew my grandma made me learn it by the time I was 3 or 4 years old, but know your social security number. I think by a certain age, you should have that memorized, like your name and spell your name. Because again, you never know when you get separated, something happens. I can at least pull down your medical records if you're sick or injured, or have you. Those things
Parents don't give out that social security number to their kids a lot now. You know this, right? Well, that's a whole nother conversation. That is a whole. Don't even go there. But yeah, so some type of identifying something like we can take the time out to make these things. Have an hour conversation with your family per night about just something like this. Take some time out, turn the TVs and the devices off, find out. Let's play a game. What's my phone number? Like simple. What is your actual address? What is the zip code you live in? Because see, they don't even need to put in zip codes anymore. They pull up maps. You put in 234 Joe. As long as you're in the right city, you're gonna get to where you need to go.
Now I hear you, but let me ask you the question. Okay, and that is a pushback, just a question in my head that comes off the head, not to be argumentative.
Yes, you are.
No, this one not, because I have because it's a justifiable question in my mind. We say we don't give our kids their social security number, but the cell phone holds all this other information that could be just as damaging, if not worse. What's the difference?
Okay, I'm gonna be fair, because this is just I'm not a failure as his mother. I'm not giving my 19-year-old boy. Well, no, I just recently gave it to him. Okay, I just when he made it into college.
Well, not giving him a card, knowing your number. I'm not saying give the card. I'm talking
well,
about
knowing the number, but I just because I don't
like,
know.
And
they should. I agree with you.
7 or 8 years old, you should know the child should know your social security, their social security number,
and do what with it?
Have it for an emergency, just like your phone number, just like a phone number.
I agree with you, but I'm not going to tell you that I have followed that. Okay.
Now, I understand, but not everybody can afford private security like you have for all the time for the kids to run around. So I mean, you know.
So it took a while. So I have 3. So I understand it took a while. I knew their socials. I just didn't give them out. So when my oldest son was on his way to the military, then I gave him his social. Then when my baby was on the way to college, both of them socials. So yes.
No, the card, no. But just knowing your number is my thoughts. But we talked about sandbags and barriers. Also knowing your neighbors.
Please tell them what a sandbag is. Don't just say sandbag. Tell them what it is and how you can do it yourself.
Okay, so the pillowcases that Miss Washington used to hide her money. Stop. Sandbags is a secure bag. Usually, they're not. Some are waterproof. They should be anyway. You fill them up with sand, and in different sizes. You load them up to help prevent water to spread it, and use it as a barrier for rising up. It doesn't totally stop the water, but it helps prevent severe damage, not just water, but debris and other items as well. So the sandbag around. Well, it's even. I try to have it around the doors, but also around other things because it could pile up around the other areas in the doors and get in. One of the things is that you should have, to me, at least 3 feet worth of sandbags, one level, and then another level around it, so it can help bridge it, sort of like a moat, and you have the various levels, so you can add additional level of prevention. Those type of things will help a whole lot, and you'll see that technology being used in a variety of different ways. That's been around since that's been around even in Roman times and indigenous times or whatever. That's just been out. So, heck, even in biblical days, sandbags were used. I mean, this is not something new. That's one thing that's been stand the test of time. Perfect? No. Very well reasonable, and it can be super effective if you know how to do it correctly.
And it's a temporary fix. Some of these things are temporary, but at least you would have something temporary. Because people are like, I'm not going to wait. So before people start saying what they're not going to do, understand that some of these solutions are temporary, but they could save 2 or 3 hours that you might need to be able to get to someplace else. So
that save a life.
Yes.
Or those type of things. So those things are very important. And we talked about embracing technology. Batteries, I'm sorry, batteries are not that hard to get. I mean, just understand
and get all the batteries, please, not just the AA's and AAA's. You need the great big ones; those are necessary. And what is that? That's the D, and then it's the other little one. I don't know. I just know I have it.
You got the D, and the 9 volt, and
there you go. Yeah.
Also, I want you people to understand this, and this may be something a little bit behead, and some of you might be calling me a super techie here, but know your MAH, your battery strength of your batteries. You got your 1200, 18, 22, 25 MAHs. That's the length of charge and lithium ions and all the other stuff, the type of charge for your batteries. That's going to let you know how properly used. Now, you may be saying no, but think about it. These batteries are also used for blood pressure cups and medicines, diabetes items when you're testing your blood, all these other things. And that's going to make a difference if it can last a couple of days longer or not. And that can save your life before you can get to somebody else. Various other health items and machines that rely on batteries.
I'm not saying no, though.
Okay. All right. I know you sitting here just thinking, it's like, I'm going to whip his. I know after the show, you're going to whip my ass.
No. I just want to, when you get that technical, because see, I can tell you that I'm slow. I need you to put that up somewhere, what you're talking about, because that's important because of those blood pressure cups that I'm thinking about, because of making sure we monitor, people's sugar and stuff like that. That information I want to know. So if I want to know it, I want somebody else. So it's not you being too technical. Just tell me, help me be more educated. That's all.
Sure. Let me do this for you. Let me pull. I'm going to. I have it. Give me a second here. I have a website that had that for that explained. MAH is milliampere per hours, but I'm going to Anchor. Here I'm going to, and I want you to save this. Actually, I need to put this on the comments. So forgive me. I want this so everybody can have it, so it can stay on the records permanently for everybody. So this website, Anchor, is probably one of the top companies in the world regarding batteries and portable batteries, but milliampere, MAH, milliampere per hours. And it has a link and it tells you everything about batteries, information about the charge, the ratings, the importance, and everything else with it. And it gives you, it's not going to give you everything, but it'll give you an understanding of what it's supposed to be. and things. And it'll have a better understanding when you choose your smartphones, the batteries on your watches, how technology and things will work. And this is going to, and again, this is important when it comes to your health safety items. There are some people who have these batteries, and there are different type of batteries, but those type of batteries that's inside the monitoring machines that some may have in their homes. This is going to be the batteries for what you may have your wireless systems and safety systems in your homes. All these different things are very important. So I'm not sitting here to try to sound like I'm better or anything or be like above everybody. I'm just selling prevention. These are the things that they don't tell you, that these are things that are necessary in life. Again, I know some say math and certain other things we don't use in life anymore. I'm a little bit on it. May not be every day and not to the level I may use it, but here it could mean a difference of saving your life. And in turn, even the chargeable items that jumpstart your car or other things. So those things are kind of important to have for yourself.
And portable batteries, like the ones you store in your cars, they're not that expensive. And especially if your kids are on like nebulizers and stuff like that, they do have nebulizers that have the battery, and that it sounds like the batteries that you're suggesting would be perfect for those type of machinery, just in case somebody's having an asthma attack and the pump is not available. These things aren't necessary for people. Yes.
Right. So you know the difference between AC and DC, all those different things within your home and stuff like that. So this just gives you a little bit. If you do a little bit of research, you can find some additional information. But that's just a little bit of a safety thing right there. The last things to go over, we talked about having an evacuation plan. We talked about pet care. You know, food and safety for your pets and things. Unfortunately, we're going to find. We ain't gonna go just half talk about the number of animals that may have passed away throughout this. And animals tend to be a little bit more of better survivors than humans these days, sadly. We should be learning more. We can learn a lot from nature and animals, you know, and they have their stuff together. If the dang bear and bird can get it together and store it, I don't see why we can't figure it out. Surge protectors is very important. Within your homes now. I also want you're going to find this in a lot in news and things, and it'll be too much to post. But I want you to understand a couple of things. When there was a video, the person that had this wrote on the sign, spray paint breakers off. Okay, which is a great thing. So now when you're turning on power, especially live power to your house, one of the first things they tell you is not necessarily to have all your breakers on and things, because you could create a surge. Turn everything else back on slowly, but make sure you get by a certified electrician and the power company to verify that it's safe to turn back on, because it'll kill yourself. Some of these homes may still have older, especially in these mountain regions, older surge breakers. So if you can, make sure you have your circuit breaker. If your circuit breaker is over 20 years old, change it. That's just the bottom line. Change it and get more than what you need. So then that way it can handle the strength and pull. What people don't realize, you have over 80 surges a day in a home, no matter what. But you don't see it as because technology and our devices have improved, but still you can get it. Sometimes your devices can go out, but make sure all your devices, I would say at least, some may say about 22,000, but I say 3,000 joules that can elevate your surge protector devices. So then that way it can handle the strength, and you'll see the red light, yellow light, green light, whatever the indication may be for your individual device. That's going to save you for your electronics. And also they have the warranties and things, to make sure you register those devices and the surge protector, so if something happens, you have a record of it for yourselves. We talked about backing up the financials. We talked about, well, not so much, but disaster proof your home besides the sand pads. We reinforce, always have those things, measure your windows and have the plywood if you can. Also be careful with breaking glass with these things. Stay away from the glass windows. If you have to, there's a lot of people that keep those old crawfish tubs in the basement for a reason. Some people do because of situations like this. Your what's the thing in the farmers you see in the old farmer houses? They go underground, shelters, those type of things. Even if those who may have some type of safety room, safe houses or safe rooms, all those things are very important. Say that again, ma'am?
That's what I was trying to think of. I know what you're talking about under the house.
Yes, storm shelter.
Storm shelter, something like that. Flares. Flares was something else that I like in the country. They have flares. So just in case you're caught, like the man had the mirror, flares are good. Not a lot of people buy them, but yeah,
Flags as well.
flags, yes.
Put up flags. They may get out the ground, but in case the weather's over and they fly by, you may be sleeping at night, or in the National Guard knocking on the doors in the middle of the night doing rounds and stuff. Put in the number of people in the house.
On the windows.
Right, in the house. 3 people live here, 1 dog, 1 cat, whatever. Asthma, and then whatever with serious thing. Heart patient, asthma, blah, blah, blah. You are out. That way we can mark it. They spray the house. There's a bunch of different methods they do now. So I don't want to say it inarticulately, be inarticulate, but there's different methods, different safety groups. And there's a lot of small independent militia groups that work out with different groups, the safety groups also that are trained for situations like this. Community alerts, sign up for all your systems things, even the local colleges. I signed up for J. Sergeant Reynolds, VCU, Virginia State, whatever. Even if you don't live near, 20, 30 miles away, sign up for all the emergency systems in your areas and the alerts on your cell phones, including the missing children, everything. The police bands, so then you might say, oh, this is too much, it's doing too much. Is it doing too much when your child goes missing and gets swamped out of water? Is it doing too much when you can't find out? And then so now family members missing, you want to alert everybody, but you didn't register. Well, why they didn't get this information? So think about that before you start telling them, doing too much, because it could be very well be you or a love family member as well. Clean your yard. If you got trash, if you just got a bunch of junk on your show, I'm sorry, not the show. I'm sorry, in your yard. And those type of things, old pianos, old cars, those things could be dangerous. And then so when the wind, the rain, it could fly back in your home, towards your home. So clean your yard of unnecessary. If you know what stuff is coming, put away those brooms, loose things, toys, the big wheel, the bicycle, all those things that could be taken and thrown away. Not injure you, but injure somebody else. Try to escape. There's literally people who are kayaking down the road in the rain. You should not be, but they're that, and items fly by and knock them in the head and knock them off. Those type of things have happened. So be careful. We talked about the first aid, CPR, and stay informed of the weather updates. And last but not least, self-sufficiency, survival skills, building a fire, water filtration, those type of things, to tablets and stuff. So that's it.
That was all. Okay.
Hopefully, I know we are missing. We may not have gotten to everything. Hopefully, we did.
We got to a lot, though.
Yeah. I just want to. I know there's a lot of frustration in this, because I know we know better. Even if emotional intelligence, at some point in time, survival has to kick in your head. I mean, even those who are who have some intellectual disabilities will realize, okay, something's not right. Trust your gut. Your gut doesn't mean I'm just going to stay in the house. No, that's just pride. Okay, and there's yes, you can scream God all you want, but there's a thing about faith without works. Fortune's favor to prepare. You can go far with others than by yourself. You can go fast alone. And next thing I know, you can be fast down the street on that river, and heading to the end of your life. Raging water is raging water. I don't care how anybody is a strong swimmer, all the Navy people for over the years, and any other safety type of swimmer, Olympic swimmers, whatever you call them, anybody that deals with the water every day, oceanographers, what have you. Water is one of the most violent, and not to scare you, but it could be one of the most fun and relaxing things in the world, but it's also not your friend at times. She can be a beast. And when you decide to ignore her warnings, it is. This is why you see things, people don't travel below the 50th parallel, 50th, 60th parallel, because it's closer. away and the waters are raging and more dangerous is things you don't see people swimming, you don't see boats going across there, you don't see submarines like talk about go over there like that because it's a danger. So be aware of your surroundings and things. Miss Walston?
Are we wrapping up? let me no. I sit her in an Uber. No, but everything that you have said tonight, even in this passion, is true. We need to prepare. Like, we need to have conversations. We do need to step away from the reality shows and the music and the dramas and the whatnot. These are real conversations, because even though it has not happened to us where we are, if it's not happening to you where you are, these things are happening. And that means that none of us are safe from that. So if this information can help you just prepare a little bit more, like if today or tonight you go out and buy 2 packs of batteries, just be more intentional about wanting to live safely. Be just more intentional about valuing your time here while you're on this earth. Be intentional about your neighbor where they're ignorant. Share with them some of your knowledge. I appreciate my neighbor here explaining to me about the different voltages of batteries, and I'm sure he appreciates me. Things like CPR, first aid. This knowledge needs to be shared across the land. And it might not make much of a difference, but it can make some type of difference. So I absolutely agree. This is very necessary. If just one extra kit, just one extra phone number, or knowing how to contact and knowing what your resources are, we need to talk about these just as often as we talk about everything else.
Very much so. I want to also due diligence and things. I think it would be good to do again. FEMA, for those who have not received it earlier, FEMA disaster assistance. They're 1-800-621-3362. Again, that's 1-800-621-3362, or visit disasterassistance.gov. Again, that's disasterassistance.gov. They also have all the different agencies out there. Also, American Red Cross is another one, but they all have the different organizations that's providing support. If you have the time and resources to donate physically or financially or information, please, like we're doing now today for those our voices, because this is going to take some time to recover in our communities. You know, this is not an overnight thing. This is going to be several years. We're going to probably have to look for that news and that documentary 3 years from now and say, okay, what happened to Asheville and some of these other areas 3 years later? You know, we're still doing Katrina documentaries now, 20 years later, those type of things. And these are these life-altering things that can change the course of the world. Anything. I want to also make a point. Someone brought up this discussion about Kamala is not there and all these other things and stuff. And I think people need to understand, again, people don't understand how government works. Last I checked, she's still a VP and has her job to do as a VP. Now, when this was happening, she stopped, went back to DC to help assist in coordinating efforts. That's her job as a VP, to assist with the with the president. So fussing at her not being on the ground, no, it's there. And regardless of the situation, all the governors and senators and Congress people said, please don't come. We're not trying to make this a political event. You send help, but, we'll let you know. And they followed that. Now the president's going to come, I think if he's not already, I forgot what day. But, they got to do the job, and you got to coordinate. And then we already have some structural issues with FEMA and some other things. So stop it. You have to understand how government works and things before you start speaking out. Even
Forget how government works. Forget how government works. Come there for what? That's what I do not want to hear the excuses. You're going to find anything for any reason. Trump's ass, excuse me, are you going to get me all out my face today? Trump's behind was there telling lies. You want him to throw some paper towels? Do you not remember that fiasco? Nobody's supposed to be there unless they're able to provide a resource. Let whoever do. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Congress. Stop politicizing everything.
I would have been much happier. I'm sorry. I would have a equally more respect for Trump if he sent that service group of resources. That he came with supplies and support and resources. You should just have sent it and kept on going. Not
Are you
sit
talking
there.
about Puerto Rico or this recent nonsense where he
No, just
stamps?
recent. No, but he said that I forgot the group with all the resources. One of those conservative groups that brought all these truck of resources to Georgia.
Was he a president that at that time?
No, this is just like yesterday. A few days.
Then thank you, CYA. Thank you. We're not finna have that chat. People are dying. And you want me to talk about red and blue? People are dying, losing their life.
Thank you. Not saying what you're going to do because obviously you failed. I don't want to hear anything. When Puerto Rico happened, your boy Cruz left people hanging in Texas doing that.
And went on vacation.
And with the family and left the people behind. Whatever happened last, captain leadership. I mean, like the last leadership. I mean, like, come on, all these different things that was going on. And then COVID, you did every single thing to undermine
COVID.
Right. During
People
COVID
died.
and all this disease department and everything else. I'm sorry. I still feel the government is responsible for everybody's funeral. We should not everybody that paid out any money for the funeral. I feel the government, this is not only with reparations and all the things with that, the government owns everybody in the family that has died from COVID, and you have to pay out money for your life insurance. Or any money you paid out, and then for your and I know people have, some people had insurance and some life insurance and some did not. Well, I think anybody, whatever was paid out to the funeral homes should come back to all the families and people.
Did we talk about life insurance? Did we touch?
We did, but not. I don't think we covered it as much detail as we probably could have. But I think it was. But that is something we do need to cover. I think that needs to be a separate show. Life insurance.
That's right. Life insurance and investments, because we need to know we're not financially sound. Even if you don't make the most money in the world, you should at least be smart about how you spend it. Later on.
I have a book on alternative investing, on Amazon. Look it up, Stephen Sykes. But we need to talk about, I think that's a couple of shows. I think we need life insurance, health insurance, and all type of insurances. I think needs to be one show. Investing needs to be a next show. So, hey, everybody, we talked about a lot of different things, and we got a lot more coming. Me, Miss Walston, Miss Scott, everybody. So we've always talked about what's going to be for the next show in the week, and I have a whole list of things. But it's not about me; it's about you. So we're here to inform and to educate and what have you. And regardless if you agree or disagree, one thing we are going to do is we're not going to lie on this platform. That's one thing. Agree or disagree, we are not going to lie. 2, I will tell you with a shadow of doubt, every single piece of information is researched and given without a shadow of doubt and facts. I may not have them on every single show, but I'm always going to bring in professionals and people with experience or who have experience and can give actual knowledge and information towards this topic of the show. As always, for almost all the shows, I try to have a healthcare professional, mental health here for it, but and not to call her the end all be all, but we try to not operate without a license, as they say. So this is very important that we have these type of discussions and things. Speaking of which, I forgot to post the other one, the mental health crisis hotline. Again, 1-800-985-5990 or text talk with us 66746. Forgive me for struggling with words, a little trouble with teeth and jaw, still getting used to some surgeries and things, but we're getting it together. And also, we talked about the National Flood Insurance. If you have trouble reaching or need as a preventive and also reaching, this organization can help you as well. And also call your, as they always say, call your local representative if they can, and if they don't get back to you, keep on pushing up the line. You got to keep on saying there's in each state, you have representatives and senators in each state representatives and senators, and you had the federal ones for each state as well. And you have your school board, and you have your county or your city representatives, and you have your senator, and you have your governor. So there's always resources, people, and things, and exhaust them all, and keep nagging, and then take note who answers when you start, and also keep a notebook. Anytime you speak to somebody, grab their name, grab their phone number, and write down the time that write down who you talk to, so you have a frame of reference and information. Always important. Piece of I prefer having a cell phone, not just I prefer doing both, cell phone and a piece of paper, because a piece of paper is gone, cell phone's there, and at least it's if you have you setting up with your backing up online, it's in the cloud. So just always be good about that. Know your passwords. Ms. Walston, before we sign out, do you have any other words or thoughts that you want to say, Queen?
No, I just thank you again for having me. Thank you for the prayers last week. I'm glad to see you smiling and together. So I really, again, appreciate being a part of this platform. And thank you for these thoughtful conversations. Thank you for us not having to agree, but finding common ground and learning to communicate. I think that's wonderful. And I think that's a wonderful example for others to see.
I don't think we disagree. There's nothing.
I just think, okay, we didn't disagree. The pack, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I got to bring you back. Because you be like,
okay, yeah, okay. I will accept that, and if I offended anybody tonight, no.
No, you didn't offend. No, I'm saying for us, I like our banter. The fact that adults are having adult conversations, that's a wonderful thing. That is a blessing to me. Mm-hmm. And I am happy that you are a blessing to me. So thank you for letting me be a part of it.
You are of me as well, and I thank you. It's just the fact of yes, I'm very passionate about this. It's not so much about technology and all this other stuff. I'm not trying to, I know I get accused of being a champion of women's rights and technology all the time, or I'm a homer for certain things. But no, I'm a homer for growth and prevention. Those are my avatars. And if you don't know what your avatar is, let's find out. Hit us up, and we will have a discussion. In fact, that's going to be another show we're going to have about your avatar. I got a couple of perfect people about that. So that's going to be an interesting show. So we'll figure out what next week. We got a whole bunch of topics for next week, but always we're gonna try to bring what's the saying? We're gonna bring it to you with the next. I don't think I said it correct.
You should not ask me. I'm trying. I'm learning from you and cheering. So I'm gonna get it. So I'm still standing on business, right?
There you go.
Standing on business. Okay. We'll learn that other stuff. Okay.
How can people reach out and contact you, ma'am?
People can reach out and contact me at anikawalston@gmail.com. And also I am on Facebook. I'm under author Anika Walston. And always drop something while we're alive. If you have some questions or concerns and you need things that I need to answer, I will answer to the best of my ability. And if I can't answer them then, I'll come back with the answer for you. Let me know what you need. Ask me while I'm here. Okay?
Thank you. And Miss and Liana, please, if I butchered your name, please forgive me, Queen. Queen, I don't want to be rude and just assume. But great points. Thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time out to listen to us. I got yelled at because some of the others said, Lisa, and they said, you don't know if it's a female, and I just okay, I'm sorry. I'm not here to offend anybody. Everybody get mad at me for trying to do the right thing, but it's always important. But again, you can always contact us. Our email is enliven@gmail.com, enlivengm@gmail.com. You can always have any questions. And also, we greatly appreciate any support that we have. I had to give all my money to Miss Scott and Miss Walston. They take everything that we have. I had to pay them like $500 an episode to come on the show and things like that. And since
I wouldn't take it if you did, so stop it.
I know, and then because Silk is not here, she said I have to pay her double. Just tries to work. So I want to do what we can and stuff like that. So if you mind, it really does help for our resources and things. Cash App, $ IMMRLP, and PayPal, enliven gm@gmail.com, and also our Zelle is the same information as well. So we're gonna keep pushing it, stay woke, run it up on God.
Are we like we Zing it tonight? Like, what are we doing? Like, oh God, oh my people, oh my hood. Like, let me stop.
On my mama, on
my hood. Oh, listen, we sound like 50-year-olds. Stop it. Like that. I don't even know if we were on the same beat. Okay, let's not embarrass ourselves. That's fine.
That's no problem. I ain't embarrassed. I don't care. I'm gonna have fun and roll with it. Do what you, or throw them bows. Whatever.
No, that was hold on. That's throw them bows. It was saying hold on. Let's say
that's ludicrous. That's
nuck
about
if you buck. It's like nuck if you buck. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, nuck if you buck and things like that.
We got it. We got this. We gonna be down. We gonna have this straight in a couple of more.
I'm gonna get so many calls to get fussed at for this.
Take it with stride. Be passionate about it. Say you just want to reach everybody. Okay.
What they say, you have to meet people where they are.
That is a therapeutic statement. Meet them where they are. Process.
I'm very much I'm in the game. I'm in that game with you, Queen. So I understand. So I every day I just want people to be safe.
Okay.
Yeah. So
blessings to you, my king. Blessings to you.
Blessings to you all. Thank you. God bless. Stay safe. Reach out. Again, if you're having any type of emotional distress, please call your local support agencies, 988 in Virginia, American Red Cross, FEMA, what have you. There's always, again, I'd rather talk with you versus talking about you, not about you, but talking on speaking about you during your funeral.
Amen.
God bless everybody. Good night.
Good night. See you.
See you.